According to our research, children with insomnia symptoms are likely to persist with them as young adults and are significantly more likely to develop an insomnia disorder in early adulthood compared to children who do not have difficulty sleeping.
This study is the first long-term cohort study to describe the developmental trajectories of childhood insomnia symptoms through adolescence and into young adulthood. The team's longitudinal study, which began in the year 2000, was designed as a random population-based study of children between the ages of 12 to 15 years. Children and their parents provided reports of the children's insomnia symptoms, defined as moderate to severe difficulties initiating or maintaining sleep. The children also participated in an objective in-laboratory sleep study using polysomnography, which can identify sleep apnea and other indicators such as the amount and quality of sleep. The team studied 502 children, 7.5 years later as adolescents and 15 years later as young adults. The team found that 43% of children with insomnia symptoms continue to suffer through adolescence into adulthood. Although about 27% of children with insomnia symptoms experience remission of symptoms by adolescents, close to 19% experience a waxing and waning pattern into adulthood. Among children without insomnia symptoms, about 15% of them developed insomnia symptoms in the transition to adolescence and persisted with them into adulthood. The key findings of this study is that insomnia symptoms in childhood are more likely to persist over time than we previously believed, said Fernandez Mendoza. Those with insomnia symptoms and laboratory measured short sleep duration are much more likely to evolve to develop a clinical condition in early adulthood and not just to persist with the symptoms. So parents and clinicians should not assume that insomnia symptoms are benign complaints that would go away with age.
That is an educative story right there, talking about children with insomnia. But I would want us to discuss the general overview of insomnia.
Well, so insomnia is a sleep disorder that makes it difficult to sleep or to maintain sleep, and it can either be short-term or long-term. It's a short term when it only occurs for days or weeks, and it's chronic when it occurs 3 times in a week for 3 months or more. And basically, people with insomnia normally complain of difficulties falling asleep, difficulties staying asleep, poor sleep quality, waking undesirably early, and daytime impairment.
Okay, Agyemang, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I mean, we compare insomnia to apnea. You know, insomnia is the inability to sleep, or let's say you being able to even go to bed, basically, compared to apnea, which is more of a disorder where you try to sleep, but repeatedly you take in heavy breath in and out. You know, with sleep, you should be able to have your breath reduced to the minimum, so your heart beats, or let's say you breathe in that much, but when you are getting to deep sleep, all these 2 things must suspend, so you can go to bed quietly. But you have apnea where you repeatedly breathe in heavily. That will prevent you from sleeping. And then insomnia, that is any act that should get you to sleep, are all being reduced, so you can't really go to bed and you can't have a good sleep.
That's true. All right. So now let's continue with how children with insomnia are likely to suffer from the same predicament as adults, according to the study. Agyemang, would you start for us?
Well, I mean, it's very difficult here because the question is, what are we looking at with children who are suffering from insomnia? These disorders are very, very critical. What do your children do when they go to bed? You have kids who go to bed and they're children on playing games, watching movies. Now, these are activities that we inculcate, we indulge in, that prevent us from having a good sleep. And if we let's say, if we indulge ourselves into it much more, then it takes away the normal means of we catching a good sleep. So before I go to bed, each and every day, I want to watch the 12 p.m. movie. So I make sure I don't miss that.
That's true.
Then afterwards, I pick my phone, I go to Facebook, I go to Instagram, and I'm checking online.
Yeah.
How do you expect to have a good sleep if you have such a very poor sedentary lifestyle and you want to be everywhere? Your body doesn't get used to it. Now, if your body is not used to sleeping at this particular time, then it means that you still want to do the regular thing. So 12 p.m. you wait for the movie, go to social media, play games, then insomnia sets in. And it's not airborne, it's not caused by mosquitoes, it's just by your attitude towards
Are you
sleep.
sure insomnia is caused by your attitude towards sleep? Because I mean, a lot of people don't have any control over that. People, I've actually encountered people who really wish they could sleep, but they can't.
Well, you see, even though we understand that it's a mental disorder, everything that happens around us, apart from the ones that are caused by some causative organisms, have an effect on the brain. Basically, if I don't inculcate good habits towards sleeping, how do I expect my body to get used to sleeping at a particular time?
No, I perfectly understand what you're trying to say, but my point is people who have insomnia do not deliberately decide that I do not want to sleep. There are some of them who try their best. People even go to see doctors. People go through cognitive behavioral treatment just so they can catch sleep, but it doesn't work. So how do you blame such a person and say that their attitude towards sleep is what's preventing them from?
You know, funny enough, if you dig into insomnia and its causes, you don't find anything like hereditary, like your mom can't sleep, so you can't sleep.
No. Well, I don't think I've come across this.
So I mean, we have to appreciate the fact that your sedentary lifestyle plays a key role here. If your lifestyle, and you know, I don't know, but people don't really want to tell the full story when it comes to why they are suffering from insomnia. But if they are supposed to say it all, what they have leveraged on, what they have actually indulged in, what they have built on over time, the body gets used to it. For example, with coffee, if you take coffee often, now you mean that your body, you stimulate your body to do extra than it is. So your body actually extend its operation.
That's true.
So to do more over time. So let's say I close from work, I get home at 7 p.m. My body says that you have taken coffee, and it means that it calls for overtime. So now I'm awake. My systems are still working. If I lie on the bed, within say 45 minutes, everything should shut down quietly, so I can go into sleep. But because the body has been fed with a sedative or a stimulant, it's now working as if you're still working because you're giving it a booster. And if you do it over time, the body gets used to it. So when you even stop taking coffee, it says, hey, I'm still waiting for the call because I think we have to go for overtime. Even though you want to back out, it's still what it is. So, I mean, children should be watched. They should be nurtured properly to get used to the right sleeping times. And what the activities they get into, playing games, talking, watching movies. If you don't watch these things, these attitudes in kids, they get used to it. They go to bed, they don't sleep.
You
know, you can watch the child's attitude, but if
the child says
it requires medical attention, I don't think it would work. I know a lot of people who are suffering from insomnia that they try everything they can. Some even take sleeping pills and it doesn't work.
That's true.
So interestingly, it gets to a point whereby it is irreversible. That's what I'm saying, that it gets to a point where you want to back out, but it won't back out.
You know, how many people would go to the hospital and report that I am having insomnia, I can't sleep? How many people would do that? I think it is that approach to it. So whilst they are kids, they feel it is normal. So their bodies get used to not sleeping early. So every day you sleep at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. and you think that is okay. You grow up with that habit. I think that's why I agree with Agyemang when he says how you start is how, I mean, that's basically what you get used to. So I think the study makes a lot of sense.
Okay.